I have so much difficulty being by myself. It feels silly. Every time I have to spend more than an hour or so by myself, I get the worst sense of anxiety and a very strong desire to hang out with friends and do something, even if we're not even going to be talking to each other. I've been trying to figure out where these feelings are coming from a lot lately. Is this coming from a desire to keep myself distracted from thinking about the point in my life I'm at and why I ended up here? Is it because I'm a very extroverted person? Do I not like the silence? Am I just so easily bored? Maybe it's all of these. It's not like I have no friends. I still have a small handful of solid, trusted friends who I know care about me, even if I've made mistakes that cause that handful to shrink. Why is it that I still crave social interaction even though I should probably feel secure and fulfilled with the friendships I still have? And I know my family will always care about me too. I have to spend maybe 85% of my week these days by myself. I get to hang out with a couple friends 2 or 3 times a week in the evenings. I wake up in the morning, go eat breakfast alone, go to classes where this semester I've ended up sitting far away from anyone I'd actually want to talk to, eat lunch and dinner by myself, work out by myself, study and do work by myself. I end most days by hanging out in my room, either trying to learn how to lockpick, reading, or trying to play guitar. Just among other things, just random things to keep myself occupied. I hate it though. I see so many people that walk from class to class in a group or studying in groups. I often see the same groups together almost every day. I want that so badly. I suppose I just need to introduce myself to people randomly, but I never feel like I'm in a situation where it's appropriate or not weird to do that. And who knows, maybe I'm overthinking it. I genuinely don't know. It's at a point where Instagram and making these videos has become my primary social outlet. Sometimes people respond to things and I can at least have a brief conversation through messages. I'm never going to make actual friends this way, actual new friends, but at least I can interact with people. Sometimes I even go to bars in the evenings if I have nothing else to do, so I can be in an environment where there's a lot of people and a lot happening around me. I don't usually talk to anyone, but being in that busy public place is still a little helpful. Maybe this sense of loneliness and FOMO, for lack of a better term, is rooted in my experience in high school. I never really connected with anyone at my high school because I was somewhat socially inept and honestly didn't like many people I met there. I was an outsider from a different middle school than everyone else and couldn't find a way into any of the social groups that had already formed. Quite literally, 95% of my friends at the time went to a different high school. I almost made some friends once during my senior year, but then that fell apart and I got sent back to the drawing board. So on one level, my current situation makes me feel a little like I'm in high school again, bouncing around school, eating meals by myself, and sometimes getting to hang out with friends a few times a week in the evenings. It closely mirrors that time in my life. College was an opportunity for a fresh start for me. Everyone was finally in the same boat as me. The majority of other freshmen also needed to find new friends, and I made friends. The 2 friend groups that I became a part of during my freshman year eventually drifted apart by the time I reached sophomore year, though. Luckily for me, I'd stayed friends with the people I was closest to from these old groups, and through them, I was introduced to even more people that I had so much more in common with than my freshman year friends. No shade to them or anything, I just often felt a divide between myself and them. I met the first woman I ever fell in love with before the first day of class as sophomore year. I met maybe 5 or 6 other people who I bonded with very quickly during that same first week of classes, and I'm still friends with some of them. These relationships felt so different. They felt right. I could feel it in my gut. I could envision myself being friends with all of these people after college. I hoped for that. I felt lucky I'd found that. I loved the energy that these people brought into my life. There was always someone to hang out with or some activity to look forward to almost every day. People to eat meals with. I guess I should have mentioned earlier that the reason I'm talking about all these things in the past tense is because my circumstances are different now, if you haven't already put that together. The whole reason I've spent so much time thinking about all this is because a couple of months ago, I pushed about half of the people I considered myself to be friends with away for the foreseeable future, at least. Worst case scenario, forever. The worst part of losing these people for me, besides the fact that it was my fault, was losing people that liked to do different things for fun than any of my other friends. My other friends don't ever want to go to see movies in the theater. My other friends can only very rarely study together. My other friends never want to go to drag shows with me or go to school events together. I loved doing these things, and now I either have to do them by myself, which kind of takes the most enjoyable part of the experience away, or not do them at all. I guess I have to find new people. At the same time, at least right now, even casual interactions with other people have become so difficult for me. Even interactions with my friends. After the breakup I went through back in December and the end of those several friendships around the same time, I don't know, my vibe has just been killed, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Every time I'm interacting with anyone, all I can think about is how much I miss the friends I lost. Those are my people too. I can't seem to connect with many other people in the same way I connected with them. All I want is more connections with people, but I don't ever feel like I'm present in the moment anymore. My mind is always removed from whatever situation I'm in. I want to move on, but I can't. Literally just this morning when I woke up, these conflicting sensations were so intense. I literally had to yell into a pillow. I went from a point in my life where I may not have been doing the best in school. I wasn't really my ADHD was kind of running my life. My emotions were often getting in the way of my responsibilities. But at this time, I was socially happier than I'd ever been before. Now, I'm at a point where I have everything but my social life together. My emotions are more intense than they've ever been before, but, at least it's not stopping me from passing my classes, getting a job, going to the gym. I've made progress. I feel like I've moved off topic a little at this point, though, so I'll come back around. I'm afraid that making friends after college is going to get much harder because of how much busier and spread out people are going to be. There's less opportunities and time for social activities after you're out of school. At the end of the day, I think the root of what's stressing me here is that I'm afraid that if I don't make enough good friends during college, what could be the last major chapter of my life where that's an easy thing to do, I'm going to live a lonelier life than I want to. People are what makes life worth living. I don't know. I just want to know why going through the process of figuring everything else out about myself had to tear up my social life that I'm so dependent on. Why couldn't I reach a healthier place in a more stable way than I did? I suppose those are more questions that it's best not to dwell on. I have to reap what I sowed. I really hope my ability to be present in the moment will return soon so I can start moving past this internal conflict. I'll never stop missing these friends that I lost. Good people are hard to come by, and I'm a firm believer that when you do find someone you enjoy spending time with, you need to hold on to that person. Treat those relationships like gold because you never really know what could happen.